Tiara McWilliams is a mother who's been forced to carry around a substantial amount of emotional pain for the past 6 years. You see, that's how long it's been since she's seen her daughter. A decision that Tiara made regarding who her daughter would spend her summer with, something that should have been a positive experience, turned into a living nightmare. This is something that no parent should ever have to go through. In February of 2009, Tiara McWilliams should have been enjoying the early days of new motherhood. Just a few months before, in October, she had given birth to a little girl, naming her Ameera. This new mom's happiness, however, became marred as she was living with the father of Ameera, and according to Tiara, he was an abusive man. Things were not going as she pictured with the person that she loved and just had a child with, and she would find herself becoming more and more fearful of him. She had a decision to make: stay with a man that abused her, hoping things would get better, or leave. Her safety wasn't the only consideration. She had a little one to protect now too. She chose to leave him, and rightfully so, taking her newborn daughter Ameera with her. According to Tiara, the father promised her that she would regret taking his daughter away from him. She and Ameera stayed away from the father for quite a while. Unfortunately, there isn't much in the way of a time frame surrounding this period, at least that I could find, so I'm unsure exactly how long communication was off between the two. Free from abuse, she and Ameera would leave Texas altogether, moving to Wisconsin. Over time, as resentments and hurt feelings subsided between the two parents, they started to communicate with one another again. This would become every day by phone. He showed a real interest in getting to know his daughter, and after some time, he would make the trip to Wisconsin to visit with her. Things seemed to be moving in a very positive direction. Trust between the parents started to grow. Tiara almost allowed herself to believe that he would help her raise Ameera, and Ameera would also have the benefit of having her father in her life. This routine of phone calls, texts, and the occasional visit would continue until 2013. This would have been around the time that Ameera was 4.5, almost 5 years old. That summer, Tiara would make a fateful decision that would prove to be a major regret in her life. Because of how good things were going with Ameera's father, she allowed her to go to Houston to spend a few months with him and his girlfriend. That summer visit went well, but when it came time for Ameera to return to Wisconsin to be with her mother, her father refused to bring her back. He wanted to keep her there in Houston, and there wasn't anything that Tiara could do about it. There was no legal custody agreement between the two of them, so police could not assist the mother in getting her daughter back. She would have to take him to court if she wanted to have any chance of getting custody. Obviously, this was devastating news for Tiara, made worse by the fact that she was states away. Months went by, and finally, in the spring of 2014, she would fly to Texas with the goal of bringing her daughter back home with her. But those dreams were short-lived, as the father was not going to allow her to do that. He did, however, allow the mother to visit with her daughter while she was there in Houston. The visit would not go as she hoped, though. The father was aware that if Tiara took Ameera, he wouldn't be able to stop her, so to make sure that nothing like that happened, he would not allow his little girl to be alone with her mother. He brought Ameera to the mother's hotel room and was there monitoring their entire visit. Again, she tried to get the police involved, but like before, if she didn't have those legal documents, they were powerless to do anything. Defeated, Tiara would fly back to Wisconsin alone. With her daughter so far away, she would miss out on so much of her life. Again, due to the limited information that I could find about this case, it's not very clear if Tiara just accepted the way things were, at least for that time period. After returning home, Tiara found that it was getting increasingly more difficult to stay in contact with her daughter. She would have to leave message after message on the father's phone, and he wouldn't always call her back, and sometimes he wouldn't call her back at all. Many of the messages that she sent him through Facebook were being left ignored or unread. The last time that Tiara spoke with her daughter was by phone in 2015 when Ameera was 6 years old. After that conversation, all communication from the father and her daughter would completely cease. His phone number would eventually become disconnected, and they would move to an unknown location soon after. Over the next year, she pleaded to speak with her daughter daughter through Facebook Messenger, begging both the father and his girlfriend, but neither of them would let her. In 2016, Tiara states that she filed court papers to get the custody process started in regards to getting her daughter back. Her plan was to get her affairs in order in Wisconsin so that she could move back to Texas. It was also in 2016 that she would learn some very unsettling news. Tiara found out that Ameera's father was in prison on an unrelated case, and at the time that she found out, he had already been there for months. Worst of all, no one seemed to know where Ameera was. This news would hit her hard. If he's locked up, who is taking care of her daughter? Detectives would go to the prison to interview him, and according to Tiara, he was given a lie detector test, although I couldn't find any information as to whether he passed it or not. He told detectives that he left Ameera in the care of a woman named Linda, or Tootie, who lived in Waco right before he was sent to prison. Anyone that was questioned did not know who this woman was. He gave them an address where he said she lived, but when investigators went there, no one at the residence knew this Linda or this Tootie. They confirmed that Ameera had never lived there, and they had never seen a girl in the neighborhood that looked like her. The father seemingly had no further information to give. If Ameera wasn't with this mystery woman, then he didn't know where she was. There are conflicting reports as to when Ameera was last seen. The best that detectives could gather was that Ameera disappeared sometime between April and November of 2016. During the 3 years that Ameera was with her father before he went to prison, detectives were able to confirm that he never enrolled her into any school and he never took her to the doctors for any reason. She's been listed as a missing child since that year. Detectives conducted a cadaver search at a property that was one of the father's last known addresses in Hubert, Texas, but they came away empty-handed. In the 6 years that Ameera has been missing, there hasn't been any leads that would help investigators find her. During this time, Tiara made the move back to the Houston area, and the father was released from prison after serving 4 years. Tiara states that during those years that he spent in custody, he never once asked her about Ameera, nor did he show any concern. She believes that he knows a lot more than what he is saying. Tiara spoke with him soon after his release in 2020, begging for any information. He told her at that time that he was in a halfway house, and that as soon as he was done doing his time there, he was going to get Ameera. It's now 2022 and she is still missing. She only tried to do the right thing, encouraging the budding relationship between father and daughter. She blames herself. It's true torture for a parent to not know where their child is or if they're still alive. Tiara does not believe that Ameera is still with us. She hopes to one day be proven wrong, but logic tells her otherwise. Depression led her to start drinking, and she stated that she had to become sober in order for God to give her any peace in her life. Ameera Deadrick's case has become cold, and sadly, there hasn't been any leads that would heat this investigation up. I couldn't find much in the way of news coverage surrounding her case, but she is listed on some of the missing children's websites. Ameera's case is just a drop in the ocean, though, as there are literally thousands of missing kids all over the United States, and if there isn't a direction to follow or a confession that's given, a body or some type of DNA evidence, the case has no choice but to sit there collecting dust until a reliable tip comes in. Researching this case though, I was really surprised at the limited information that I could find. There are so many questions yet few answers. The biggest one is, where is Ameera? Who has her? Is this woman that the father spoke of real? What does the father's girlfriend or his family members know? Is she still alive? If not, where are her remains? What happened to her? Who's responsible? No charges have ever been filed against the father in regards to Ameera's disappearance. There must not be much in the way of evidence to charge him with anything, and it's unclear if investigators actually view him as a suspect. One unnamed person claims that they last saw Ameera sometime in November of 2016 in Waco. If this person's account is accurate, this would have been at the same time that her father was already in prison. October 1st, 2022 would have been Ameera's 14th birthday. birthday. This is the most recent age progression photo of her. I'm going to state this information once again for purposes of ending the video. The father states that he left her in the care of a woman named Linda or Tootie who lived in Waco, Texas. This woman possibly worked in the healthcare industry. She may have lived in the Bordeaux apartments, also located in Waco. Curiously enough, I could find no information as to what this woman looked like. How old was she? What was her race? What color hair did she have? Was it long or short? How tall was she? How much did she weigh? Did she have any tattoos or other identifying marks? I just find it rather strange that that information isn't readily available. If you know anything about Ameera's case, please contact the Waco Police Department at 254-750-7500 or the Texas Center for the Missing at 713-599-0235. I'm really hoping that Ameera is still alive, and if it turns out that she's not, I hope that her mother and her family will find out what happened to her so that they can have some sort of closure. That's the end of the video, and I really want to thank you so much for watching. I'm working hard trying to grow this channel and would love for you to come on this journey with me. If you enjoy learning about true crime cases, please give this video a like and consider subscribing. If you have a specific case that you'd like me to cover, let me know. I love to take requests. Anyhow, I want to thank you all once again, and remember, stay safe out there, people.